everyone, it's your girl Z, and we're back with another episode of Z Talk. Today I have storyteller and writer Kofi Dormah. Welcome. How are you today?
I'm good, Z. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Cannot complain.
Love. I love that shirt. What does it say? Challenge?
It says challenge, inspire, hope. Does it say? And love.
It does though. I've been through some challenges, so I definitely can attest to that.
These are almost like the keys to life, you know?
It is. It actually is. Actually, dang. Where'd you get that?
A friend of mine actually gave me the shirt. I don't know if it was affiliated with a group or a company, but it was gifted to me. And I thought it was definitely fitting for the show.
Words have a lot of power in life, so I appreciate that friend because now you've blessed me, right? Because now I've seen something that attests to my struggle, so I appreciate
on the interview, you know.
Exactly. Thank you for having me here. I'm excited.
No problem. I'm very excited too. And with that being said, let's jump into it. So talk to us about Kofi and how he became the individual he is today. So anything that comes to mind, it could be your upbringing, it could be school, just who is Kofi, and just give us a short intro of yourself.
To make it short and sweet, Kofi Dormah was born in Ghana, West Africa, in a small village. Well, small to the term village always kind of refers to something small. My village was actually really, really big, but it's called Tepa. It's in a small kind of rural area outside of Kumasi, which is not the capital, is Accra. And then you go like 3 hours out and you go to Kumasi, and then you go 6 hours out, and that's where Tepa is. So I was born in Ghana, came to America with my dad, just off of God's plan, clearly. And then I settled in New York for a little bit, grew up in Worcester, Massachusetts, went to Syracuse University, and then landed back in New York. So yeah, Kofi Dormah is a life man, I would call. Yeah, I'm just an individual living day by day.
Like that. I've never heard that one before. I like that.
Thank you.
When did you realize you were a storyteller?
Unfortunately, very late. I don't know, actually, let me not say unfortunately, because you know how sometimes when you go the long route on your journey, because of your own stubbornness, like you begin to like speak like, oh, unfortunately I did this, I found this late, or unfortunately I came into my passion late and stuff like that. So I'm trying not to do that, but I did come into the passion late. I became a quote unquote storyteller when I officially graduated from Syracuse University and found myself at like the lowest point of my life, just physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, completely lost. And at that moment, you go on or me at least, I went on a self journey, and in my self journey and in my journey with God, this art of storytelling came to me. But I understand why it was always so distant from my mind, because mind you, like I came from Ghana, so English was my second language, and all I've ever heard my whole life was how I don't know English, or how I don't know how to tell stories, or how I can't use the language, or how I'm using it inappropriately, how I'm misspelling things, how I can't put together a sentence, how I can't do a paragraph, how I'm writing terrible papers. So
all these negative things.
All these different negative things that just strayed me away. So I leaned so much on my physical, right? I was like, oh, football. It's gotta be football. You know, my athletic, I'm African, I'm fast. I want to be a quarterback, a leader. And now I'm a director. So kind of the same position, right? So I was leaning on my athletic ability. And then once that was stripped away, and then once like just emotionally and like I said, spiritually, I was crushed, I had to rebuild, I had to refine myself. And in that refining, things literally got refined within me, right? So my talents start to show a little bit more, because then you shed certain things that are not of you, right? So I would say honestly, it's gonna sound crazy, within the last like 3 years.
That's not crazy at all. Before I jump in here, I want to make sure you tell your story before I jump in, so you can continue.
Yeah, I mean,
crazy at all.
I guess maybe to me it sounds late, sounds crazy, sounds unconventional. But professionally, I would say within the last 3 years. Prior to that, I never saw my visions as storytelling. I never saw my ability to understand human nature as anything important. You know what I mean? And human nature is absolutely a part of storytelling. Uh, I never understood my compatibility with different people from different ethnic grounds, my ability to empathize with different people different backgrounds as anything special. And these are all parts of my storytelling world. Um, so you don't really know, I guess I would say, that you are a storyteller until you know. You know what I mean? Like until it just kind of hit me like, oh, I've been doing this my whole.
You said a lot of relatable things in there. But what resonated with me the most is when you reach like that pivotal point where when you feel like flat on the ground and you're like, okay, like this is gonna require more than me just getting up, but more so like I have some work to do here. Finding yourself and digging deep to figure out how you even got flat on your face. And through that rebirth, you start to realize who you really are, what resonates with you, and it births something new. Like you literally shed your old self. So that's very beautiful. And I always like to say that when it's your time, it's your time. And therefore, whether you found it out a year ago or yesterday, you found it out at the right time. And it's just like, what are you gonna do from here? How are you gonna step into that from here? Some of the most successful people and some of the people that we look up to on a day-to-day basis, they fell more times than ever, and then they found their calling at a very late age. So 3 years ago doesn't mean anything.
It's funny. Age is so relative, right? So when we think it's late, God's looking at us like, bro, you just getting started. You know what I mean?
Right. Thank you. Yes.
But that all comes from this pressure of, oh my God, this pressure of life. Like you got to do this at this age.
Yes.
If you don't make it like, oh my God, you got
Yes.
no,
Yes.
no, don't. You know what I mean?
Especially
Like
when you are the one that feels like you have, and you're aware of your gifts, and you're like, okay, I have the pressure of, okay, I got to do this for my family, or I'm gonna be that person. So yeah. So is there one genre that resonates with you the most?
I would have to say drama, because it's a world in which I am allowed to really explore things for what they are. I'm not making things satirical. I'm not making things lighthearted as a romantic comedy. I am just allowed to kind of just write things as they are. And that's power to me, because I think one of my major sources as a human being for writing is my heart and the things that I've seen in my world, the things I've explored, the human beings, the history. It's all drama, So
That was deep. That was definitely deep. So you realized you wanted to be a storyteller, and you touched on your upbringing, but what did you actually want to be when you were younger? What did you want to be when you grew up?
So I think at my earliest age, I wanted to be like a soccer player. And then when I came to America, I was all in about football. I wanted to be a quarterback, and not even like a football player. I just wanted to be a quarterback, like I felt like I could be trusted with the ball in my hands. Like if you give me the ball in my hands every single play, we will always win. That level of confidence, I don't know where it came from, but I was like, yo, football. So yeah, I wanted to be a football player growing up.
It's funny. Now, even though you aren't pursuing to be an athlete, you turn that leadership into something else.
Exactly. And now I'm telling stories about athletes, right? And then, like I said, like being a quarterback on a football team, I would say, and actually one of my producers, Elodian, brought this to my attention. Being a quarterback on a football team is like being a director on a crew, or like on a set, right? You are the quote unquote the leader. You are the which everything kind of goes through. You're supposed to usher the ball. Like I'm not literally supposed to score every single time, but I am. I pass it here. I pass it here. I let this person shine. I hand off the ball. You know what I mean? So nothing goes to waste in life. Like trust and believe, nothing goes to waste. Everything we learn, everything we grow up, that's like deep and yearning inside of us, I believe we use somehow.
Yes, yes. That's just these deep answers, but yes. Yes.
I got to keep it.
Say that again.
I said I got to keep it lighthearted. I told you I was a drama writer.
No. Keep it deep. People like to hear deep. People like to hear the motivation. So keep it going. Published or not, do you want to share the first story that you ever wrote and how it actually came to mind?
I would say the first official story would be out of New York Film Academy. And that story is called Mama Loves Me. It's actually, it's a short film. And it came to mind, literally, I was yearning to tell a story about an athlete and about an athlete. Like, so at times I think we forget like how hard it is to be an athlete and you dedicate your whole life to trying to make something happen, but and then it completely shatters, right? And I think it's important because yes, we hear about the athletes who might have had a possibility to make it to NFL, but we don't even like what happened to those guys who chased it just as much, but they had no chance. You know what I mean? Like I don't. That's crushing. You know what I mean? You really spend your entire life with one dream, and then when it's like shattered and it becomes a reality, you're like, oh, what do I do now?
Right.
But Mama Loves Me is really a story, and it was inspired by my best friend Tevion. And we literally like it was just magic. Like I came from New York Film Academy, a class. I sat down. I literally sat across from like Tevion, my best friend, and then Mariah, one of our main actors, and an amazing spiritual person. Like she's so dope. She's a poet as well. And I sat in front. I was like, "Hey, I have a," and she's like, and they're like, "What?" I'm gonna tell you guys. It's about you and you.
Mm-hmm.
And literally pitched that story to them like in that moment. And in that moment, they both agreed to be in it. And mind you, I had never done anything before, you know what I mean? Like here I am pitching a 25-minute short film. I don't really have any like proven record. I had done like some short projects, a little like music video, for school and stuff like that. So they entrusted me to guide them and direct them, and I think it came out beautifully. It was hard though because it was
time.
Yeah, it was my first time. You know, sometimes I had to be the sound person, the camera person, the director, and the producer. Like everybody
Sounds
knows,
about right.
you know, people know what
Sounds
that.
about right.
So I don't know. Like it's no matter how like the bumps that we face, like we were able to like work through it. And I can imagine, like I can remember me and my best friend running in like the bridge in Brooklyn, the Williamsburg Bridge. Like we were running, and I'm filming him, and it's just me and him, and we're losing daylight. And I'm like, "Yo, we gotta go!" And like we're driving down Brooklyn, like, "Oh, we're losing the sun! Come on, we got it!" It was an amazing experience. I can't like if that was my test, like boy, that made me like really, really know that I'm here. You know what I mean? Like this is what I want.
What I can say is that you took that leap. Is there a platform where people can still watch this video?
Yeah, it's on Vimeo. It's on my Vimeo. You can go to kofidormah.com. It's on there as well. I have some other stuff I've worked on there. It's called Mama Loves Me. Shout out to Jay-Z, the song Mama Loves Me. Real Brooklyn story, real Marcy Projects kid, like just trying to make it out. He's a boxer, you know what I mean? He's life's kind of holding him back, and he has to make a decision. You know, he also has a little daughter, but his fiance, or the mother of his child, also passed away. So he's dealing with a lot of different things. And it's a short piece, but it just shows you a little piece of like, do I fall into the trappings of the world, or do I believe in myself and just, chase something else?
Beautiful. That's beautiful. I'm aware that you have a production company called Stolen Tribe. I'm interested in hearing more about it. The inspiration behind the name, the mission, and just tell us about Stolen Tribe.
It's really just will be a stolen tribe of different people that have come together to make a production company to tell stories. And these stories are what I believe we've lost as African people, as Black people, as people of diaspora. And I think it's our treasure. So the motto of the Stolen Tribe is to be a treasure chest, a protected treasure chest for the stories of and from the diaspora.
That is beautiful.
So
That's
I
beautiful.
want people around me that can protect our stories. I want people around me that can bring, individuals who can trust us with their stories. Because as you see different Black stories on TV, they're not managed properly. You know what I mean? Things are very stigmatized. Like, I can't tell you how many times as a kid I was made fun of just because of Michael Blackson's like Marasoka. You know what I mean? Like
Yes,
that,
yes.
that one thing he did, literally like African booty scratch, like coming to America, like these things just kind of they traumatized my experience. You know what I mean? To me, it's like you didn't protect our stories, because that's not what our story is. Like, it's a portrayal, you know what I mean? It's a stigmatization, it's a stigma, but yeah, it's not our story. So I hope to protect people's stories in the future.
That response, I didn't even expect that response. But I would say I commend you to seeing that disconnect in the industry, or seeing that disconnect and saying, I want to do something about that and create a space for that and to correct that. So that may feel like a lonely walk at first, but it's definitely a powerful move. So
thank you. I appreciate you saying that. That's like, this is one of the first times I'm actually explaining like Storm, because nobody knows that right now, right? I think it's always interesting when you're first starting. I'm sure you can relate. Like, nobody really knows why you're doing it, or like Z Talk. Like, what does that stand for? What is she trying to do? Like, they don't know until they know, And sometimes when they know, it's like, you should have been known. So for me, I appreciate that you can understand that perspective that I'm trying to come from, and kind of navigate my way through Hollywood, because yeah,
not
I'm
gonna
not
be
Hollywood.
easy.
Yeah, I'm not Hollywood.
It's not gonna be easy, but it'll be worth it.
I believe so. I absolutely believe so. Even though it's hard to stay on that, And I'm just gonna be completely honest. Like, I don't want to pretend like I'm here like, oh yeah, this is gonna happen. No, some days I'm like, yo, this is a lot. Some days I'm like, how is this gonna happen? Sometimes like, I don't think this is gonna happen. But I think the point is, well, there's this quote that I've been repeating to myself. It's be humble at the mountaintop, right? Be strong in the valley, and be faithful in between, right? So I would say, like, in my valley moments, in the moments in which I'm having doubts, in the moments in which I'm questioning everything, questioning the future, questioning the possibility of the different things that are coming up in my head, questioning, I remember, like, you got to be strong and just literally just keep walking, just keep going. So in this one, I'm just literally I'm keeping the going. Challenge inspires, you know what I mean? So
one of the things I like to say is, if you have a heartbeat, that means you have purpose. So that's my daily reminder. And touching on what you said in terms of like not acting like, I have it all together. That is the reason why I started this platform. And that is the reason why I started Z Talk, was to give individuals an insight into what it actually means on betting on yourself and choosing your journey, because it's not peaches and cream. Most days you're giving up on yourself than you are cheering for yourself, because it's not easy. And a lot of times people see this route, they see the entrepreneurial journey, and they see people starting these platforms, but they don't really understand or hear the story. They only see the glitter at the end. So when you said that very much resonated with me, and it is the reason that I started Z Talk. So just to be transparent,
and
really
now the platform has done for people like me. You know what I mean? Like where would I be now without your platform? And I gotta say thank you for chasing your dream. Thank you for kind of continuing to press on, although you had your doubts. Because now you're allowing me a space in which I can talk about certain things.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And going back to Stolen Tribe real quick, I am also familiar that you are currently working on a project titled African Giant, the prequel, coming to America. So give us a full rundown. What will it be about? What influenced the project? When is it expected to be released? Where can people watch it? Just talk to us about that.
Absolutely. So African Giant, the prequel, Coming to America, is, as it's kind of as the title says, it is a prequel for a series, a TV series that God dropped in my head and trusted me to tell. I pieced together the actual series, but before we get to the series, my team and I decided to go a different route beyond like the different studios and kind of pitching, and we're creating a prequel. And this prequel will be just like a short film that gives everybody like a tease of the pilot and gives a little piece of the narrative so that we can garner support, just like, similar to like Issa Rae with her Insecure and things like that. But honestly, it's a story about Emmanuel Sofoansa, who is a first generation Ghanaian teen born in the Bronx, New York, who kind of falls into this world of scamming, right? But in falling into that world of scamming, it leads him on a very twisted journey throughout life, right? So it's really what I like to call not the miseducation, but it's the re-education of things. Because at times, like I said, our African history and our confusion as Black people, and I when I say Black people, I mean all the different colors of Black people. I think it comes from like our history being lost, because without that, you really struggle with finding out what you're supposed to do and how you're supposed to go about things. So in this African Giant, the prequel, Come to America, we focus on a small piece of that greater story. And we tell the story of his older brother, Emmanuel Sofoansa, our main character's older brother, whom came from Ghana with a message from his grandmother, right? So a grandmother's message to the grandson changes the life of like the course of life for a whole generation of people, and it's a crime drama. I think it's also a love story. It's also a musical journey. It's also but like I said, like you heard, like scamming, and that's also like a stigma, right? Africans and scamming, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Explore it a little bit, but also there's so many other elements of scamming that's happening around. So now you get into this world. So it's not your crime drama in which, the narcos. Like I'm about tired of all these drugs and cocaine and this and this. There's
Okay.
so many other stories to be told. There's so many other nuanced ways to tell crime dramas. But the Western world especially just loves to tell stories about Black people and crack. So I'm just like, I don't want to do that. I'm going to tell a story about Africans and scamming, but I'm not only going to tell stories about Africans and scamming. I'm going to tell a story about the world scamming, So there's definitely a lot of unseen layers of crime that takes place in this story that infuses. It takes place in the Bronx, New York. So there's so many different cultures in the Bronx, New York, right? So we go through that world, and I think it's literally going to be the next big thing. I think if you're familiar with like The Wire, I know it is going to be, because the series in which we've written, as far as the first season goes, and the prequel, this short film that we have, as well as the talent in which we're seeking to kind of bring on, we about to cause an uproar, but I can only do it with the support of the people. I want to do the Hollywood thing. I'm not Hollywood. I'm not going to pretend to be Hollywood. I'm not famous. I'm not going to pretend I'm famous. I want to do this with the support of the people so that when they see it on the TV, they can say, I made that happen.
You're just using your purpose to get the message out.
Exactly. I'm only the vessel. The people got to want this. The people got to help.
You definitely sold me, though. Definitely sounds interesting. Definitely sounds like something I'm going to watch. So you sold me.
That's big. Thank you, G. Nah, that's huge.
So you are a writer and you are a director. And I like to look at that as two different fields. And you have to kind of put on different thinking caps for both.
Mhm.
What kind of projects do you like to associate with your name, whether it be from the writing perspective versus the directing perspective? So you said you like drama. Does it go both ways for both writing and directing, or?
No, I would say that because I'm out, so as a day job, I work at Viacom CBS, and I am a writer and director over there. So I work on advertisement content. So if you've seen certain things on our Nickelodeon YouTube channels, I've also made some commercials on TV that you may have
No big
seen.
deal.
No,
Big
no,
deal.
I don't. It still really hasn't hit me at all. But that element is completely different from like the drama writing in which I do personally as under Stolen Tribe and stuff like that. But I have found a way in which to like you to your point, storytelling is that's the world in which ties both of that writing and directing for me. Like storytelling, that is what I am, you know. I as if we were all on a campfire. I'd be that old elderly person who comes in and like tells the little kids the stories. But like at Viacom CBS, like that's my main source of it. I need to tell these kids a different story here through advertisement. We've seen advertisement. We haven't even seen ourselves in a lot of advertisement, right? Certain things haven't been painted correctly about ourselves on advertisement. So as a writer, when I write, I make sure I think of all these different things that I would do, outside in the drama writing that I would do. And as a director, I make sure that visually you see yourself on it, right? There's different animation projects I've done that we've literally been so um, intentional about how we draw the curve of a woman, how we draw her dreadlocks. You know what I mean? Like certain things. Like when's the last time you saw an animated dreadlock character? In a SpongeBob commercial. Like to me, all the kids I know in the hood, they watching SpongeBob, so they should be on TV, you know? So as a director, it's about visually, how can I make my influence, right? And then as a writer, it's about, okay, how can I tell how can I tell people about this influence? Or how can I create something that brings together a succinct story to make an influence, right? Because at the end of the day, I am advertising, so I am like marketing a toy or I'm marketing a product. But I try to stay away from the product and never lose myself to that world. Um, so I think what ties it all together for me is that storytelling at the end of the day. And what I like to tell everybody is I am a storyteller first and foremost, and that ties the writing and the directing into it. I just have the ability to do both. But I knew I was a director before I knew I could write. I knew I could see things in my head that other people couldn't see before I knew I could find the words to explain it. And finding the words is not it's not easy. As you can see, like when I'm talking, like I'm English. It's English my second language. So it's like how do I say this? How do I am I saying this right? And it's all kind of intimidating until you face it and you get through it.
Yes, well said though. But yes, to storytell and to find the right words as humans, it takes a special kind of gift. Not everyone can do it, but it takes a certain kind of gift. But well said, well said. What is something you believe you could not do but have surpassed your own belief?
It's something I believe I cannot do. I mean,
But
everything I'm doing,
your belief.
I had no idea I could do. I'm gonna be like, like, that's me being dead. Even like that's why it becomes so surreal. I had no idea I could do what I'm doing. Like I had no idea I could tell a story. I had no idea I can be such a leader in which I guide a crew through an entire production and piece it all together in post. You know what I mean? I had no idea I could edit until I edited it. I had no idea I could write this story until I could write this story. Like I doing a short film to write in an entire season, like if that ain't God, I don't know what is. Like what? Like I had no idea I could do any of that. So I think we as times as human beings, we shortcut ourselves. You know, like they say things like when you're put to the test is when you really like it's now you got to show out. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm gonna talk that talk, but when it's time to walk that walk, I'm also walk that walk. You know, and I think that's the thing that it becomes intimidating to walk after you've been talking so much. You know, so I oftentimes try not to talk as much, or else I might put myself in a predicament in which I can't do something. But yeah, I would say literally like day by day, like as I go through my day, like I'm working on a project with Nickelodeon, and it's like it's for a company called Hasbro. They have a Nerf product, and it's like I used to play with these toys. Here I am, like creating a whole YouTube series based off this toy. Like what? Like I could do this. Like I can sell in a pitch. I can write 2 to 3 sentences on a page and present it to a client and have them spend all their money to buy my idea. Like what? It doesn't feel real. None of this feels real. But it's okay. I'm not, I'm like, hey, I'm not gonna question it too much. I'm gonna just keep rocking.
But a lot of what entrepreneurship is that, it starts in your mind, and you go back and forth in your mind on whether or not you want to pursue it, or whether or not it makes sense, or whether or not it's worth it, right? And then only a few take that actual step to say, you know what, I'm gonna make this into something. I'm gonna make it into reality. And then you realize, even though it's not easy to hit the ground running, and even though it's not easy to actually make what you see in your head come to life, when you do start the journey, you're like, okay, this is not as big and scary anymore. And then you start surpassing things and getting past things that you didn't even realize you could even do when it all lived in your head. So really, it's just a matter of what we said before, just taking that leap.
It's that fear. Fear holds human beings back from so much, and like we were not made, God says we were not made to operate off of fear.
Mm-hmm.
I've let fear make me do certain things and make me not do certain things. So much so that I was just like, what? Like to this day, I'd be like, yo, I might actually try out for the quarterback. I might actually be in the NFL
It's
one
never
day.
too late.
Yo,
Never too late.
I'd actually do it.
So the last question I have for you is, I like to ask guests this question because it looks different for everyone and everyone has their own unique perspective on it. But 5 to 10 years from now, who is Kofi personally and professionally?
Well, cool. 5 to 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it's funny because I have my I don't know if you did this for 2020, but start of a new decade. I wrote down my 5-year plan, my 10-year plan.
Mm-hmm.
I have like a certain things that I think I don't think I need to stop saying think. I know I will listen. I know I will actualize, but I hope to really just remain humbly, diligently, wise, patient, loving, and I think the rest will fall into place. You know what I mean? I don't like to think about the career too much because I know where the career is going, and that's out of my hands. But I'm going to continue to learn, going to continue to grow. I hope to really, really, I see what success does to people, and I don't want that. I don't want the fame. I know sometimes it comes with being like a filmmaker and stuff like that, and doing like I'm trying to do a TV show, and in 5 years, yo, we gonna be on like our 3rd season. You know what I mean? So it's gonna be huge. And that I'm excited to just like to finally just live my life as me completely. You know what I mean? Right now in this moment, because I'm in this beginning stage, I don't feel free. I don't feel like I can actually just be who I know I am. You know what I mean? But once the world sees it, then all I can be is me, right? And I can't just live my life day to day, just like being me, just completely. Like I'm a very Zen person. I can get deep a lot of times, you know what I mean? But as the years go on, I get more intentional about who I am and what I do believe in and all of that. So in 5 to 10 years, I'm going to be Kofi Dormah and my
Right.
family. Yeah, I'm just gonna be Kofi Dormah.
I like that
Absolutely.
response.
And you gotta hold
I gotta hold you to it.
you gotta play back this interview. Like, yo, Kofi, remember when you say he's gonna be Kofi Dormah?
This is why I like to ask the question, because a lot of times we put timestamps to things and we speak on like what we want, and it like we talked about before, it seems like to us right now, but then you look back and you're like, wow, like you've grown so much compared to the person that you're watching when you look back.
Nah, that's why I didn't want to speak on like, oh, I'll be doing this, I'll be doing that, because I don't know what I'll be doing. But I do know that there's certain things that I would like to be as a human being, and I think that's what's most important for me.
That's beautiful.
That's I'm not trying to be. It's just real.
Oh, you say that again?
I know it sounds corny, but like it's just like that's just
it's uniquely beautiful. A lot of people would usually take the route of saying what they are going to be doing, but instead of just embracing you are going to be yourself.
Yeah, I'm leaving that to the universe. Whatever you need to do, I'm gonna do. Just help me stay me. You know what I mean? Help me stay strong.
Well, you definitely said some encouraging words for not only the people that'll be watching this, but also myself. I'm humbled for each time that you show love to Z Talk. But we want to see the fun side of Kofi. Not to say that you weren't fun, but we want to see the fun side, and we want to play a game with you. Is that okay?
Of course, let's go.
All right, so we're gonna play a round of this or that, and it's gonna be interactive. So we'll play together. You ready?
Yeah, that's my song too. You can get with this, so you can get with that.
Oh well, that's not really where it stemmed from, but hey.
Oh really? Oh, that's fire.
So the first one I have for you is mansion or farmhouse. No in between. Wait, say that again.
A farmhouse.
A farmhouse? I didn't expect that. Okay. Now you gotta ask me one.
Let's see. Would you hamburger or taco?
I'll do taco because I don't eat red. Well, there's many forms of burgers at this point. Oh Lord. I'm gonna still do taco. I'm gonna do taco.
Okay.
Amazon or Target?
Amazon.
Why not Target? Target always tells you what you need.
Yo, Target got nothing.
I beg to differ.
I'm gonna go with iOS or Android?
iOS for sure.
Okay, thank God.
iOS for sure.
I have somebody who Android, so.
Yeah, no, iOS. Car or plane?
Ooh, damn. I like planes, but I'm gonna have to say a car. Planes be getting me a little nervous sometimes.
In the car, you get to see the beauty.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna get there when I get there. Okay, we can do this one. Ready? So Z, my next one is: would you rather work hard or play hard?
Because of who I am, I'm gonna just say work hard.
Okay.
I like to put my time into things that I'm passionate about, which consists of me working hard, but it doesn't feel that way all the time when I'm passionate about it. So I'm gonna say work hard.
I respect.
I actually want to hear your answer.
I'm gonna play hard because when I'm playing, I'm working.
Okay. Honesty or others' feelings?
Nah, had to learn it the hard way. Honesty. Nah. Forget gotta be honest, straight up.
Honesty is definitely the best.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so I'm going to ask you, would you rather speaking of parties, would you rather a big party or a small gathering?
A small one. Small.
How come? Are you antisocial?
I'm not antisocial, but I feel more intimate settings feel more comfortable to kind of network and get to know people and converse.
Okay, I respect that. But then sometimes you just gotta get the big party. You know,
Yes.
you gotta do festivals with the peoples.
True. Out of my comfort zone. And the last one that I have for you, a trip or a staycation?
A trip.
Okay.
There's so much of the world I gotta see. A trip.
So true.
But I hate flying, so that's a hard question.
I mean, you could still drive. It's just if you're venturing out the country, yeah.
I'm gonna still go with a trip.
Let's play one more for good luck.
Let's see. I'm gonna go with classic question. Okay. This will really say everything.
Oh gosh.
Do you pick Coke or Pepsi?
Neither, because I don't drink soda like that. But if I had to choose
what?
Pepsi.
You chose Pepsi over Coke? Okay. I can respect.
I feel good.
I mean, you chose Pepsi over Coke.
I haven't had Pepsi or Coke in years, so I don't even remember the taste. So I just winged it. I winged it. Well, so as we wrap up, do you have any tips to another writer, storyteller, director out there that just needs a little boost, a little encouragement? Not to say that you've already dropped some amazing gems during this interview, but just any last tips?
Absolutely. I think if there's anything I would say to any young storyteller out there, writer, director, producer, creative, it's just be like, find your source and hold on to that source, because the world will literally try to keep you away from your dreams. Because you have your source, you can fight through it.
No. Well said. Literally, every time you speak, I have nothing to add to that. Well said. Well said.
I'm an individual who I didn't know I had anything good to say, honestly. So I appreciate you even saying that, honestly. So
where can we stay connected with you?
Please follow me at Kofi Dormah. I really would love if everybody just tunes in. I'm not the most social media person, but let's go.
Well, once again, thank you for this opportunity to speak with you. Blessings on your next chapter. I know it's going to be great. And once again, thank you for stopping by Z Talk.
Thank you, Z.